Hello community, welcome to A Cup Full with myself, Refiloe Mofokeng. Hello beautiful people, thank you so much for joining me in a new week for a new episode of A Cup Full. You are officially part of this community and I hope you make yourself at home because you most certainly are. A Cup Full's main purpose is to help young people such as you and me navigate the in-betweens of life and take care of our well-being, or as I like to say, tend to our cups and to keep pouring into them in the healthiest ways possible, all the while working on healing, growing, learning, and ultimately thriving. Life is constantly happening in many ways, and if this space can give you even a little bit of affirmation, knowledge, wisdom, the strength to keep going, whatever you need in your current season and that which you can apply in your future seasons, just ending up with a cup full of peace, happiness, contentment, wisdom, and lots of knowledge, I feel like the purpose of this podcast will be fulfilled. So this month has been so special because I've had the beautiful and most honorable opportunity to have really amazing conversations with women who I love, and I'm blessed enough to call my sisters and friends. Recording each episode has been a reminder of how fortunate I have been when it comes to sisterhood, how much I've learned because of the incredible Black women that I'm in community with, and more than anything, how much we really cannot do much in isolation. I truly am blessed with the best. One of those bests is my sister, friend, the kindest soul. She is so full of love and softness. She prioritizes her well-being and her happiness. She's both wise and knowledgeable and likes to do things with so much intention. A businesswoman, what I like to call a shapeshifter, a change maker. My babes, Refiloe Mofokeng. I am so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
Oh my goodness, T, that was beautiful. Wow, I'm a lot of things. I'm excited to be here. I am also nervous to be on a couple. But generally, I think I'm okay. You know, I'm okay with where I'm at in life right now, and I'm just. Yeah, I'm gentle. Can I say that?
Yes, I love that.
I love that. Tender.
I love that so much. I love that so much. So today's conversation is going to be all about the importance of taking risks and making transitions in your life specifically. Most importantly, embracing change and how to remember to take care of your heart and mind in the midst of it all. So, I know that for a lot of you that are listening, for a lot of you that it might be the first time listening, you will know that I embrace community. Community is important to me, as is sisterhood. And I have really been able to take or value the importance of both of them by learning a lot, the lots that I've learned from having friends such as yourself. And also, I think people must also know that you've always been so bold in the choices that you make and how intentionally you live from the day that we met, actually. From the day that we met. It is amongst the many other things, like one of my favorite things about you, 100%. So when you moved to Korea, girl, at the beginning of the pandemic, girl, I was definitely not surprised. It really didn't shake me at all. I was not surprised. Of course, I was just like, oh my God, she's going away and I don't know when she's going to be back. But because we have cell phones and like laptops, we could communicate. But I want to know what encourages you to keep taking leaps, even if you don't know what awaits you on the other side. Because that's a perfect example of you not knowing what was waiting on the other side. Like, what pushes you to say, I'm seeing this and I'm going to take a leap. I'll see what happens ahead,
Wow, I think it's really just an understanding that, and this sounds very cliche, but just the idea that this is generally my only life.
Yeah.
And if I feel like doing something right now that I feel like is going to benefit me in the future, is something that I'm going to grow from, is something I'm going to appreciate, then I'm going to do it, and it might seem out of character, it might seem unconventional.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it simply because I want to do it, and it's my life. You know, I think as a child, like, my mom would tell me this all the time. She'd just always tell me that I'm stubborn, you know, and you know, she'd ask me to do something around the house, or she'd ask me to anything. She'd be like, Emma, you're stubborn. And that's something like I carried with me, and that's something I grew up hearing, and I always viewed it as a negative thing to be a stubborn child.
Yeah.
But now in my adulthood, I've just sort of taken that stubbornness, and I've decided that I'm going to be stubborn with the happiness I want for myself. I'm going to be stubborn with my dreams and how I want to live my life. So if I tell myself that I want to travel, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be stubborn in that desire. So that's how I ended up in South Korea at the beginning of COVID.
And it must have also been like such a different adjustment to make, because you are not just in a different country, you're on a different continent.
Yes.
And you're on a continent also where they speak a different language, and there's a different culture, and there's just so much going on. But I think it's actually, I know that it's so commendable that you are so committed to seeing things through, that when you take a leap and you move forward with a thing, you are not going to leave it halfway. You're going to see it through. So that's just like, that's amazing.
Well, friend.
And I love that. Like, I love that for you. I love that you are able to, it's not easy. My mom always says we think that a lot of things are normal. Like, they come easy. That's not true. Sometimes you have to sit with yourself and say, okay, we're doing this, and there's no turning back.
Yeah, literally.
There's no turning back. You've got to teach your mind, and it's through your actions also, how intentional you are, that you just end up in a place where you can say, we're seeing this through. This isn't easy. I don't even know what I'm doing.
I'm doing it anyway.
But I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm doing it. And I think like it goes with trusting yourself. Like, I think you can be many things with yourself. You can be angry with yourself. You can be sad, happy with yourself. But at all times, you must trust yourself. Yeah. And I remember in Korea, there were moments where I was just like, what am I actually doing here? You know, why am I doing this thing? And I just remember that I trusted myself enough to come to another country. So now I should trust myself enough to know that I am okay here. You know, I am safe here. I made this decision for myself. Yeah. You know, and then so with that, I must trust myself enough to know that I'm going to follow this through. Or I think just generally, like, at all times, it doesn't matter how small the decision is. If it's coming from a place of like trust, then you can constantly go back to that and rely on that to carry yourself through uncertain moments, through difficult moments. Like, just knowing that, hey, I made this decision. I trust myself through this. Where can we go from here? Yeah. You know? Yeah. So, just trust yourself enough to do big and scary things.
There it is. Please take that and like write it somewhere. That should go on a wall or in a book, just so that you can see it every day and remind yourself that you've got to trust yourself through this life, because it's not easy. It's not easy to navigate. It's not easy to breathe through. But if there's anyone that you should be trusting, it's yourself.
It's yourself, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be out here like trusting other people and hoping that other people are gonna. Yes, you can have that support. It's very good to have support, but like, at the end of the day, you exist in this body.
There we go.
Time,
there we go.
In the soul and in the spirit. Like, somewhere along the line, somewhere in there, you have to know that you can rely on yourself.
There we go. And that's on period. Like, that's it. Full stop. Full stop. I think that if anything, like I said, like, you are like very bold and you see things through. So how has giving yourself the opportunity to transition into different versions of yourself and transition into different phases in your life changed things for you? Like, changed how you see things, changed how you live your life? What changes have you made from letting yourself be different versions of yourself, outgrow, grow into?
Yes. I think the biggest change that I've seen in my life and that I've seen in myself is like, I'm really learning I've really learned to be proud of myself, you know, like making decisions, no matter how big or small, it's not an easy thing to do. And once you stick to that decision, or sometimes you don't stick to the decision, like you realize down the line that like this is really like not the best thing for me, you know, but like I have really allowed myself to feel proud of myself, no matter how small or how big the achievement is. You know, I've just am allowing myself to like sit in like the goodness and in the warmth of achieving something and like accomplishing something, and with that knowing that like, wow, I can do so much more. You know, like I did such a big thing, I can do another big and scary thing. And I think like this like self-trust has also just allowed me to know and to understand that I'm going to constantly be changing in life. You know, I'm going to, this version of me is not my final form. It's not these emotions that I'm feeling, this personality that I have. I could be someone completely different in a few months' time, you know? And I think that's also just allowing me to like enjoy this version of myself, you know, like enjoy this soon to be past version of myself. You know, I'm trying to enjoy this Refiloe in all like her uncertainty, and there are a lot of uncertain things around me right now, but I'm trying to like enjoy the season of life and understand that like I'm not going to be here forever. Whether it's a good season or a bad season, I'm not going to be here forever. What can I learn from this? Who can I become in this form of myself?
Wow. And there's a I'm looking for the English word. Okay, so there's a transition that you made into sobriety, right? Can we talk a little bit about that, please? I would really like you to share with everyone where it started for you and how you transitioned into that phase of your life and how you embraced that part of your life. How you embraced that part of your life.
Wow. I love talking about being sober. I love sobriety. On Instagram, I even say I'm a sobriety stan. Because I think there has been no experience, no journey in my life that has just brought me so much clarity and understanding of who I am, who I can be, where my life can go. So yeah, you know what? I used to be such a hectic... I was in these streets, okay?
Throwback to varsity. And how we used to go off.
So you know what? I think this is like a whole session on its own.
Yes, like, definitely.
I used to be out so frequently in university, you know, every weekend. I don't even know every weekday, you know.
Listen.
I honestly don't know how I managed to pass, but I did it.
I
don't know how we got here.
Please, neither do I.
But alcohol just became a very normal, regular part of my life. And when you're in university, it's a normal thing for everyone. You know?
Definitely.
It's just a culture that you are living in. And moving across the world as well, that comes with its own stresses, that comes with its own challenges. You know, so you're like, I need a glass of wine after work, you know, and you just start falling into that. And I was like just drinking a lot, and it was just affecting who I am. It was affecting like how I wanted to live my life, you know. I remember like there was a day where I was like, I'm in a whole nother country, you know, I'm doing what I love doing, I'm traveling, and yet I'm spending every single weekend partying. I'm spending every single weekend drinking, or just is this what I'm traveling for? You know, is this what I'm calling traveling right now? And the day I decided to be sober, I remember it was when my partner released his first song. And the night before, we had like celebrated, you know, the release of his single, and we got champagne. It was a really cute evening. But I woke up the next morning, obviously with a hangover. I remember lying in bed, and I was just like, girl, what are you actually doing? Like, what are you doing so far away from home? In this really awful cycle, in this really awful like space, way of living. Why are you doing this? And I don't know what led me to like this blogger. Their blog is called Soberish.
Okay.
And I just went on their blog and I just started reading about sobriety. And that day, I was just like, yes, this is what I'm doing. And you have moments where like, you'll be like, okay, no, I'm quitting.
Yes.
I'm done with alcohol, guys.
Yeah.
Like, after a rough night,
yes.
like, nah, I'm never doing this
when the hangover is hanging.
The hangover is like hanging,
yeah.
you're just like, nah, I'm done. But then the next weekend, you're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I was just like, is it going to be one of those things again where I tell myself, like, I'm done, but only to return the following weekend? And I was just like, let me trust myself to stay sober for the next week and see where that takes me. And then a week later, I was like, okay, let me trust myself to stay sober for the following week. So it just goes back to that, like, I trusted myself enough to take on this very, very big life change. And honestly, it's been a life without alcohol, like, is forcing me to see how I relate to people, how I relate to myself.
That's beautiful.
Like, sometimes you want to have like a drink to like navigate a social situation.
Yes.
You're just like, how am I going to do this sober? Like,
yes.
And you feel like alcohol is just going to make you feel like a lot calmer, or it's going to make the conversation flow and stuff. And just not having alcohol in my life has just forced me to evaluate social situations. And to understand like the anxiety that I feel in social settings and to work through it. So through this very major life change, I've just sort of just come to I've become friends with myself, I've really, and with that I mean like the friendship's not always great. Your friendships are not like the best 24/7.
Yes.
But like I'm able to see very dark and hurtful parts of myself without like the influence of alcohol. And because of that, I can work through them a lot more, like much better. The work that I do with myself is a lot more meaningful and intentional. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. I'm just gonna keep saying I love it. I love it. It's excuse me. I think that it is amazing to watch yourself as a person grow up, grow into yourself, and just outgrow certain things. Because as time goes on, there are things that are not good for us anymore. Things that we did in the past, like going out every week or drinking every other day or just not doing things that are conducive to your well-being, to your mental well-being, to your physical well-being. It has to die off at some point. You can't take certain things into other phases of your life. And I think it's beautiful that you have trusted yourself enough to grow into yourself, and you're not afraid. You aren't afraid. You said something when we were speaking a little bit earlier on, and you said that not being forgiving or pain can become a comfort zone that you don't want to get out of. So there you can drink alcohol, there you can smoke your lungs out. There you can have no control and no one's going to hold you accountable. You won't hold yourself accountable. And I think the one person who should definitely be able to hold you accountable is you, It's good to have people around us. But in a moment when you're doing something wrong or you're making a bad decision, you should be able to say, oh my goodness, no, we need to stop. This is not aligning with who I am as a person. So I like that you trust yourself enough. And you spoke about it when I asked you the first question that I did. But it's so beautiful, and it's amazing to see how trust doesn't just stop at one place for you when it comes to you. It moves in different parts of your life that require that trust. So I love that. I love that so much.
You can be anything with yourself, but at all times you must trust yourself.
Very, very, very much.
You must just allow yourself to feel safe.
Yeah.
Because it's also like, I've made it this far, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You can literally be like 6 years old.
Yeah.
You have made it to like age 6. You have made it to a stage in your life where you've made decisions, where you've thought, where you've done things, and that is enough. That is enough to like have a certain level of understanding of who you are and what you're capable of doing. So why shouldn't you trust yourself?
Exactly.
Like you exist in this body, in this being. Like, that's enough. Like, you should trust yourself just based off of that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm making sense right now.
Oh, you're making a lot of sense.
Telling people, trust yourself. But that's just what it comes down to.
It does. It does.
You know deep down what is for you and what isn't for you. And my friend Dumi, they have like this course that they're doing, and part of it is just listening to like your inner self, and they refer to it as like whispers, you know, like that there's something in you that just whispers to you constantly.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yes.
You know,
and
like,
you better listen.
You gotta listen to that whisper. You know, that whisper is not like that's you speaking to you.
Yeah.
You know, so listen to that.
Yeah. Trust yourself. Damn. Trust yourself. You gotta trust yourself. So, well, in light of talking about trusting yourself, I want to ask you why you would say giving change a chance is important. Damn, that sounded so. Why? Why is giving change a chance important?
Ooh. Change is something that's always going to happen. You know, you can be. It doesn't matter how comfortable you are in your situation. You know, something changes every day. You know, life is dynamic. Life is not stagnant. So by allowing yourself to, you need to allow yourself to move in that change to make it a lot easier for you. You know, because when your life is changing and you're holding on to like this very like stable life form, which you're gonna feel like the cracks, and you're gonna feel growing pains. You know, you're gonna feel like this is not serving me any longer, but I'm staying here because I'm comfortable and it's what I know. You know, but it's only through allowing yourself to live in uncertainty that you can truly experience joy. I feel. And I know sometimes like it's definitely very difficult to find happiness and to find pleasure in situations that are really, really difficult, you know?
True.
But I always try to understand like, okay, what can I learn from this? You know, how can this help me going forward? So change is not supposed to be, it's not something that's easy to navigate through, but it's something that we have to do just by virtue of existing here in this life. So embrace the change. Understand that it's something that's always going to happen. Understand that you're always going to have uncertain moments in life, but that's a constant thing. Like that's a constant uncertain thing about life. The fact that it's uncertain. You know, the certainty of life is its uncertainty.
There we go.
And also, I think also understanding that like, again, like this is not your final form. You know, you don't have to know everything right now. You don't have to understand how to deal with the situation now. Just be gentle with yourself through change as well. Like I think a lot of the time we try to, I must understand what the situation is. I must understand what's happening to me. No, be gentle, understand that this is probably something new that's happening to you, and make those mistakes, fail if you have to. But like it's all right, and you're learning through everything that you do in life, you know. So this is also like, as much as this is for your listeners, like this is also for me. Like
you're like, damn,
girl, okay. Like
I'm looking at you now, and you're like, okay, girl, you wanted something here, because you definitely are. You 100% are. Yeah, I feel you and I hear you. Also, you remember when I said she's wise and knowledgeable? Can y'all hear that? Did y'all just hear those bars? Please, man. But I 100% like I agree with you. Life is so strange. It's unpredictable. It changes, and I guess you need to be prepared for those changes. Sometimes you can't be prepared, like you won't know word for word or action for action what you're going to do. But I think moving with conviction and moving with the fact that you are standing your ground very firmly makes a huge difference. It does a lot for you, and inviting change means that you can give so many beautiful things an opportunity in the constant changing, evolvingness that you go through. And so this next question, I think it's the last question is actually that I want to ask you. When we were in varsity, I like to give context, backstory. When we were in varsity, when Refiloe and I first met, we were both, like, she was actually the one that was more in student activism, but specifically highlighting issues that are affected by women. And when I saw your post on Facebook, that was when I was still on Facebook. I was like, there was a post that you made. You wrote on your body. You wrote something on your body. Can't remember what it was. You know, in 2017 when Facebook was the thing, a little bit, you had written something in light of the gender-based violence.
Okay, yes. I remember that post. Was it like? Yes. I was like was it the topless one?
Yes.
Okay, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes, I just don't. I remember. Okay, yeah, I remember that post.
Yes. And I'm speaking on this because you have always been an advocate for Black women, for their wellness, for their protection, just being a voice for Black women who didn't necessarily have a voice, and understanding the importance of, I want to say, preserving the well-being of Black women, because the world looks different for us every single day, and we are met with different challenges and often very little room to make mistakes and truly find our feet. We always have to hit the ground running and then still deal with the challenges that are beyond our control, and just still be freaking superwoman or whatever the hell. You can't be a human being. You cannot make mistakes. You can't want change for yourself. You can't want something different for yourself. So I want to know, in the midst of Black women having to deal with the 10 million things that they have to and face the challenges that they do, and then still try and reach their goals and make their dreams happen, like dream big. What would you say is the importance, or what would you say is the need to prioritize well-being and protecting the heart and protecting the mind?
Wow.
Yeah.
This is loaded.
Right?
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah.
I think, like, advocating for Black women, it's always been a part of me.
Yes.
And through, like, the different stages of my life, like, that advocacy has looked different throughout.
Yes.
And I'm definitely at a point in my life now where I feel like, oh my goodness, like, as a Black woman, can I just take a step back and do things that I like?
Please.
And can I be good at the things I like? Can I also be bad at the things I like? Can I try and figure out what is it that I actually like?
Yes.
And I'm just at a point where I think it would be so healing and also so just amazing and heart-filling for Black women to just sit down with themselves. Like, I know there's so much that we're dealing with, and every day generally does feel like a fight to exist, especially in South Africa. Like, every day feels like a fight to exist, to live, to breathe. But I also want us to just fight for just doing the things that we like. Like, I started painting a few years ago, and I suck. Like, and it's really difficult for me because I want to be good at it, but I'm also just understanding that I can be bad at things. I don't have to be perfect at things.
True.
Like, I just want Black women to think of things that they like doing, to explore their creativity, to explore writing, and to just understand that, like, it doesn't have to be something you're going to do forever. It can just be like, you can just decide to, like, write, make a blog, like, write a few paragraphs a day. You can decide you want to do, I don't know, Pilates. You can do anything, and I mean, I know, like, this is also a very privileged thing to say, because I mean, there's work, there are just so many things that need our attention, so many things that need pieces of us, but we need pieces of ourselves too, and that can look like finding out things that you like doing, and spending time with yourself, because I think wellness is everything. The only way you can navigate this life is if you take a step back and you breathe at times.
And absolutely.
Like, to me, breathing right now looks like painting. And it looks like reading, and it looks like gardening. Like, do something that you like. Try and do a small little thing. As a Black person, as a Black woman, do a tiny thing that you like doing, because that is also fighting.
Yes.
That is also affirming your existence.
Yeah.
You're allowed to play. You're allowed to laugh. You're
yes,
allowed to...
please.
Yeah. You're allowed to just have hobbies, guys. Like, do that. Somewhat like a PlayStation. Like,
yes.
have fun with yourself. Because I also feel like growing up as a black girl, you don't have a lot of room to really be creative.
Yes.
I mean, yes, you play, but there's no... You must cook, you must clean, you must do all the things. The
weight of the world. What weight of the world?
At like 12 years old, while the boys are outside kicking a soccer ball, So I think think of those things that your inner child would have enjoyed doing. Yeah. Think of those activities that you liked doing as a kid.
Yes.
And delve into those things right now.
Yes.
And that is such a beautiful and gentle way to show yourself care, and to just be happy with yourself and to just find joy in yourself.
And take good care of yourself.
Yeah.
And prioritize your happiness and your well-being. Those are forms of taking care of your heart and your mind. There is so much going on. I think post-pandemic has been worse. We went through 2 years of hell, and then we have had to come out of it like we didn't go through 2 years of it. It's just, there's a need here. You need to do this. You need to play this role. You need to be this. You need to be that. You need to show up. You need to... no, you know what? You need to breathe too. You need to breathe.
You need to breathe.
Yeah.
You need to try and find some place in your life where you can have fun. Where you can make space for yourself. Figure out... I think this is another thing. Wellness is different things to different people.
Yes.
So think about something that would make you really make you feel like you're breathing. Really make you feel like you are at ease, that you are at peace. Think about that thing and try to cultivate it in your everyday life. Like I said, for me that thing is painting. For me that thing is yoga, and it helps me navigate life. It helps me, it helps me carry on. So I think figure out what wellness practices you want to incorporate into your life, and start there. It doesn't have to be big things, hey guys.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't, now you're signing up to the gym. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be something as simple as sketching. But figure out what your wellness looks like.
Yes, figure out what your wellness looks like. I think that's a great place to end this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me, my friend. I appreciate it. It feels like I'm in heaven right now, especially because I hadn't seen you
We haven't seen each other. This is the first time.
Yes, it's the first time since the pandemic started. Since COVID. So this was such a beautiful episode to record. I feel very lucky. Like I said, I have some of the most amazing women in my corner, and it is only an honor. It's a complete honor to be able to say that these are the women that I want to stay friends with for the rest of my life. These are my girls. 100%. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode. We have reached the end of this week's episode. Yes. Thank you for your continued support and love. Please also do share this podcast as far and wide as you can. It is available on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And I beg and plead that you also give it a 5-star rating, because we both know that you love it here and you enjoy the space and you enjoyed hearing my voice, you enjoyed hearing Refiloe's voice, and y'all know you want to hear some more. Of course, you want to hear more. So give it a 5-star rating and comment if you have any thoughts to share. Comment. A Cupful is on Instagram. The handle is @a_cupful. The comment section of this week's posts are open, and so are the DMs. I genuinely don't take for granted that this platform exists. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to start the podcast, and I wouldn't have been able to share the things that I am able to share on A Cupful. It's a true blessing, and I am eternally grateful. Have a lovely week further. Rest when you need to, work when you need to. Find a balance between the two, and don't forget that things are going to work out just as they are meant to. You are deserving of all the good things that you are experiencing in life and the ones that are to come. Keep going hard for yourself, and don't forget to do the things that fill your cup up.